Hey, friend, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like if you didn't hold everything together, that everything would fall apart? Like, if I don't do it, it won't get done. I get that. I've lived that way for years, controlling, overthinking, striving, thinking that it was keeping me safe. But what I didn't realize is that the cost of control was the very thing that was keeping me stuck and exhausted. I'll never forget when I was 23 years old, I packed up whatever fit in my car and I moved all the way across the country to Tennessee. And I did have a remote job and my one cat at the time, and just this big plan for this new life. Except a few months in, like 2 months in, my company got acquired and the new management basically told me move back to California or lose your job. And my type A self went into panic mode. I wrote a letter to the CEO basically begging them to see my value, because in my head, if I could just control the outcome, then everything would work out. Well, it didn't. And they let me go, and I sat on the floor of my office that night with a blank whiteboard and a little thing of pizza, a little thing of whiskey, and K-Love worship music in the background, just crying and asking God, what now? And in that moment, I felt him whisper to me, Kelsey, you have been trying to control everything, but I need you to trust me. And it was so clear that my grip on control was actually keeping me from hearing his plan for me. And that was just a big wake up call in that moment, because here's the truth, control has a cost, and it's not financial. It's not a cost that we see right away, but it's the kind of cost that really drains our soul over time. And, it kind of all wraps up to three, big ways that control can kind of keep us stuck. So, firstly, control leads us to emotional burnout, perfectionism, people pleasing, type A. It keeps us on this hamster wheel of doing more, achieving more, proving more, but it never actually feels like enough, right? And so when you think about it, the latter part, secondly, that is what disconnects us spiritually. We get so busy being our own savior that we can't even hear the real savior. And it's like we're drowning out God's voice with all our own plans and timelines. And ultimately, control makes us miss the opportunities he has. When we grip life so tightly, we can't receive what God has for us, because trust requires having open hands, open for him. And so this reminds me what, Matthew 11:28 says, where Jesus says, come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. He's literally asking us to put the heavy stuff down before him. So if you're hearing this and you're thinking, okay, Kelsey, this is all hunky dory, but where do I start? Here's one simple thing that you can do this week. And it's a practice I created called Release and Receive. And it's super simple. You get a piece of paper or your journal, and I want you to write down everything you're holding on to, the fear, the responsibilities, the stuff that you're trying to control and clinging to. And then I want you to pray out loud. I want you to tell God, I am releasing this to you. I have trust in you. And then just sit for a moment and actually sit and just ask him to remind you that he's got it. And I know that this sounds so small, but friend, it is so easy to do. And if this hits home for you, I want you to know you are not alone. This is exactly why I created my Settle and Soar pathway, because I know exactly how exhausting it is to look like you've got it all together while inside you are quietly falling apart. So this pathway is specifically for women who are really ready to just finally step and stop striving and just start healing and also hear from God again. So if this is hitting home for you, and you're like, hey, I want to know more, there's a link down in the description. I would love to see if this is a fit for you. And if it is, I would be honored to walk this journey with you.